Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Entertainment Roundtable. I'm Anthony Grant, and I'm joined on my right by
Raina Vaughn.
And on my further right by
Oral Ellis.
And we're back with episode 8 of the Roundtable. Now, Rain is our guest for the day. Rain, can you tell us?
I think she deserves a
Yes.
Oh,
A little applause.
thank you.
welcome aboard.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, as far as
Sure.
your profession, where you're from, that kind of thing?
Sure. I am an actor as well. That's why we're at the Actors Roundtable. But yeah, so I'm an actor as well. I studied theater at USC and I graduated a couple of years ago. I'm originally from North Carolina, but I've been kicking it in LA for like 6 years, so it's home now. So I've been doing it for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, you have that LA vibe.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks. Sometimes I get New York and I'm like, why? Because I'm aggressive, but that's probably what it is.
All right.
So in your time in LA, what would you say has been the best thing and the worst thing, and somewhere in between?
In regards to acting?
Or just LA in general?
Oh. LA, I think, takes a lot of people a little bit of time to warm up to because it's a really different type of city just in the way that the people are and the vibe and like the freelance thing because everyone's out in the day and it's just a really different vibe. So it took me a couple years to warm up to it, and I think meeting people in LA is really hard. Meeting friends is hard if you don't have a class or you're not in school or something. I think it can be hard to meet friends in LA, so that I think it's hard just in the beginning trying to meet people that you really connect with. And the best thing is just everybody's always working on stuff and it's got this energy to it. Just the whole city where people are buzzing and hustling and doing different stuff and you never know who you're gonna meet, and it's really nice to find people who are really motivated to do what you're doing and they're just accessible to you all the time.
Okay. All right.
And the weather.
Yes.
But we all know that. We all know that.
Yes, yes.
So to get into a little bit more into our topic, today's topic is going to be talking about acting classes and acting workshops.
Okay.
And whether or not they're necessary for a career, whether or not you need one, are there any particular ones that people tend to advise having, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So starting with Oral, can you tell us a little bit about what you might have heard about? Let's start with acting classes. What have you heard about acting classes?
Well, for reps, like when you have reps and all that stuff, that's the thing they always push. They always want you in acting class and stuff like that, especially when you're not auditioning a lot, because it keeps the muscle going and stuff like that. So it's good to be in acting class for that aspect. And then also meeting people, building relationships and friendships and stuff with the same, colleagues in your acting class and stuff like that too. So it's good to build those relationships, and it's good to just keep that muscle going and prepare your scenes as if you're preparing for an audition. So that's basically what acting class is for. Now, we have a lot of classes in Los Angeles. You just have to know who's good and who's not. So you got to do your research. Because a lot of people are teaching and they don't have the experience.
Yeah.
Acting experience, but they're teaching us how to be an actor. You know what I'm saying? So that's why for me, I like to go to acting classes with the teachers who are also actors and who are also booking stuff and working on television shows and films and stuff like that. So.
How about you, Rain? What's your experience been with acting classes?
Yeah, I would agree. I think every acting class I've ever taken, whether it was in college when I was studying theater or not, they recommend, like, even if you don't take my acting class, you need to constantly be in acting classes because you do get rusty really fast, and it just takes the nerves off when you're constantly working on something and you kind of get in the flow of consistently doing the work, and you just get better at it when you're constantly looking at sides and scripts and you're breaking them down. You kind of get into a flow and you start to recognize patterns and subtext and things that you need that just make you better when you go in for auditions and you're doing that type of work. I think in terms of acting classes, there's so many different types of acting classes that you can take in LA, so you can take them for different reasons. Like Oral and I are currently taking an auditioning class together, and it's great because it prepares you for a lot of practical stuff, but there's also scene study and improv classes and comedy and different things that you can emphasize depending on what you're looking to do, and it makes you just a better actor when you're constantly in class. And I think in terms of representation, you can never go to a class and think I'm definitely going to get represented now.
Yeah.
But I think if you go to a class that you really connect with the teacher in or other people, they might be willing to give you a referral down the line
Yeah.
to an agent or a manager or something. And it never hurts to just kind of keep that network open
Yeah.
in a class that you really like and that you're getting a lot of stuff out of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like you don't just take one class and be like, "Yo, can I get a referral?"
Yeah. You have to build the relationship, right? You have to
Yeah.
show them why, because there's so many people trying to do it, and no one's just throwing referrals around because
For real.
that impacts
can
their
make them-
reputation
yeah.
too. So you kind of have to prove that you're worth their time
Yeah.
to even refer you to that. But,
Yeah, that's true.
and I think, if you're looking for good acting classes, the best thing to do is you can do research,
Do
but the best thing to
research.
do is to get a referral from someone, not into
Yeah.
the class, but just ask them, who have you taken and who did you like? Because people have strong opinions about acting classes here.
Right.
And even if it's a style issue or an instructor issue, at least it'll help you be more informed when you're trying to pick something that's going to work for you.
Yeah, and there are so many like the big names and stuff like that, and some of them are like so overrated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Definitely.
think my throat, but they're so overrated. Let me make sure I say that again. Because like some of the famous teachers, they haven't done anything like acting wise and stuff like that. And like I'll give an example. I asked my manager one time about a specific very known acting school in Los Angeles,
Sure.
and she was like, "Don't do it. It's overrated."
Mm.
So sometimes we think if we go and we get the big name on our resume, it's gonna
Right.
change things.
It's going to get you
for us.
auditions or
Yeah.
something,
Yeah.
and it doesn't really work like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And that was actually gonna be my follow-up question, like, because of what I heard, it's kind of like it is the acting classes, but it's also like the who,
Mhm.
like, oh, it's who you study under, like that kind of gets you more recognition.
Mhm.
I don't know if I would say that in my experience, at least, that I would find that to necessarily be true.
Mhm.
Right.
I don't know if I mean, I guess we would never know, because we're not on the opposite side of like the casting end. But I don't know if I've ever had somebody be like, "Well, I saw that you studied with so and so," so I'm like, "I love her," or "I love him. I'm definitely going to bring you in."
Mhm.
But I have heard that be the case.
Yeah, I heard that before too. That some casting directors, they'll look in the training area on the resume, and if they see that you've been with this specific person and they know of this person's work, then they would bring you in and be like, "You know what? I guess this person know what they're doing."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I like what this teacher teaches, and I'm gonna bring them in because they've been taking their career seriously and they've been studying with this person, and we respect this person.
I think that can happen, but I wouldn't bank on that happening. Like if I take so and so, like for sure, that's going to get me recognition. It's going to get me into the room because I think it depends on the person.
I agree.
And I think there are these big acting studios, which can be great for you, but I think a lot of people take them because of that. They think, oh, this is going to open a lot of doors for me, or the connections I'm going to make are going to be superior to somewhere else. And the thing is about a lot of these like big name acting coaches only teach master classes, and you have to take the intro level sometimes multiple times.
For so many months.
And build it up to even get into the master class, and there's a wait list and all this stuff, so it could be months or even years before you even study under that specific person. You're studying under different teachers at that studio, which is great. They could still be wonderful instructors and you can have a great class with them, but if you're going because I want to study with this person, just be aware that a lot of the times that's not how it works. You have to build up into it. And I think
it's a lot of money.
Yeah, and they're expensive too. So I would go into it thinking more like, I want to take this class for a specific reason, to get better at acting or to study this, instead of versus I want that name, because although it can help you, there's no linear path and it doesn't happen that way.
Right.
I will say that there are some acting studios that do like showcases at the end of the classes or whatever, and I think I've had some friends who've had success getting repped from that, but again, it doesn't work for everybody. It really is, it's a different story for every person, so you can't go into an acting class thinking this name recognition is going to open doors, because that's not necessarily how it's going to work. There's no linear path for any aspect of acting out here. It's different for everybody.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
Or you mentioned something earlier that I wanted to ask as a question as well. When you talked about how you prefer to take classes from someone who's also acting as well.
Yes.
Have you either of you guys heard like is there any kind of like ranking system you've heard of, like the type of people to study under? Like, should you study under a casting director that teaches classes? Should you study under an actor that teaches classes? What have you guys heard in terms of like, what is the best, I guess, type of person to study under when it comes to taking an acting class?
Well, with casting directors, I don't think I would really take an acting class if they teach it, but what I would take is like an audition class because that's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
So they can, because auditioning and acting is like so different.
Yes.
So they can teach me, they can show me different things that, or point out stuff that I do in the room that I may not see. And it's good to get their point of view on my audition technique. So when it comes to training with casting directors, I would probably just do workshops. I wouldn't necessarily take a class with a casting director.
I would do both. I mean, depending on I'm really big on if I'm going to take a class, I want to like the style of it, and every person has a different style. So if I went to a casting director's acting class and I liked that style, I would probably stick with it because you can't underestimate the importance of a casting director because those are the people who are going to see you and bring you into the room and potentially cast you. And so workshops, that's why workshops, one, are really important. Two, there are fewer workshops now than there were a little while ago. A lot more casting directors are doing classes because it's kind of a safer choice than doing quote unquote what workshops used to be.
Yeah. So they do call them classes now because I did a ton of workshops and stuff like that before the whole situation with workshops.
Can you take a second to explain the situation for people who live outside of LA who don't know what the situation?
Okay, so it was a big thing in the workshop industry where people thought they had actors' best interests at heart, and they said we were paying for auditions. And me as an actor, I feel somewhat insulted that they thought I would be so stupid to pay someone to audition. Like, I know what I'm paying for. I'm paying for a workshop. I'm paying to get in the front of this casting director, show them what I do, and get their critiques so I can be a better actor. And that's what workshops is all about. But they felt like we were paying for auditions. So that's what so it was a bunch of laws that was passed to prevent that. And a lot of casting directors, prominent casting directors and all, they got charges brought against them, and it scared off a lot of casting directors from doing the workshops. So how workshops were a few years ago, they are not like that anymore. So they changed up a lot of the curriculum and stuff, the way they teach them, and it's
to be more in line with these rules and guidelines set out by the union, which is, it's a controversial issue, and we as actors have our own opinions about whether we think anything wrong was done, but it's a controversial issue because there were logistics that this curriculum didn't align with these rules or guidelines, whatever it is, and so they've reamped the curriculum to be more like a class, I guess, to be in line, to align itself with those rules.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So I mean, you can still find casting director workshops, and you should take them if you can find them, because again, you can't underestimate how important it is to make relationships with casting directors. Not just get in front of them, but really bring your A game and kind of progressively build a relationship with them, because people like to work with people that they like with and people that they know, and there's so many people trying to do it that if your face can stand out, it really does help you. So you can find them. They're a little more rare now. They're a little tougher to find, and they are formatted more like a class now than a workshop where you would come in and you would maybe read sides with the casting director, and then they'd give you some feedback, and then you do a Q&A. Now it's more class-based, depending on where you go and who you see, but I think it's really important for people to take those. You need to get in front of casting directors, and also the feedback that they have is valuable because they are the people bringing you in for auditions, and they're going to treat it like an audition room, kind of.
Because they even have
maybe
cameras.
Not now anymore, but like, I mean, I don't know, but they will have insight that other people might not have just working on the other side of casting.
They see actors every day, constantly.
Which is why I never understood the controversy. Like, for the most part, it's like, isn't that what we all want? in a way, like as an actor, you want that opportunity. As a casting director, like you want like the ease of like, oh, I'll just take oral.
But the thing is, some actors, they went into these workshops
Mhm.
and they thought if I go into this workshop, they're gonna bring me in for an audition.
And then it doesn't guarantee that at all. It's just an opportunity for you to get some feedback and to kind of forge a relationship.
Right.
But you can never guarantee, like no one owes you anything.
Yeah.
Just because you go to this workshop, nobody owes you an audition or anything.
Yeah, and that's what they thought they were gonna get brought in for an audition, and they're like, "What? I did a workshop like so many months ago, and they haven't brought me in yet." Like what? Like no, that's not what the workshop was for.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, you know, there were.
Yeah. So, again, like there were rules, union rules that supposedly were violated. I mean, I don't know. It's controversial, so that's really what it is. But in terms of like, I think a lot of actors I've talked to kind of feel like we liked them.
Yeah.
So
And
they
we
were
didn't
helpful.
realize like what we had when we had it, because there were some good casting directors that were out there doing it, and a lot of them are afraid to do it now.
Like get in trouble or make a mistake or whatever, even
like,
have it interpreted as such.
Yeah. But there are some, but it's like a quarter of what it used to be.
Yeah.
But still valuable to do it. As long as you go in with the mindset of, nobody owes you anything. It doesn't guarantee you an audition. It's really just I would treat it like a class or just an info
like
session
an audition
or something
class.
to get.
I think it would be more as
like
an audition class. Yeah.
Just to get that feedback and that insight, and it's fun to talk to these casting directors too. They're people too, and they have good stories and they have like good information for you to have in general. So as long as you're going in with the right mindset, it's really valuable for you to go.
I agree.
Yeah.
Is there any like warning signs for an acting class? Like, is there anything that you've heard, seen, been a part of, where you're like, this is probably a waste of my time or money, that you've either been through or heard stories or any kind of?
I think we hear a story every Wednesday from Audrey and her other acting class.
Okay.
Yeah, you hear again. Acting classes, people like different styles and they like different instructors. So I don't think just because someone says, "Oh, I hate this acting class, it doesn't work for me," doesn't mean it's a bad acting class. But I think it's very easy to detect patterns. Like that style might not work for everybody, but it could still be a fine acting class, right? But I think if you start hearing multiple, I would say, horror stories, like someone's making you uncomfortable or they're charging you a lot of money but they don't really know what they're doing, like you'll be able to, people are really open most of the time about helping you out and giving you their opinion on stuff when it comes to the acting world, because there are so many people trying to scam you. As long as a lot of people are telling you it's fine, or people going, I think it's okay, even if it's not your style. I think a red flag would be if you hear multiple horror stories about it from people. I don't know how to go into more detail about what they might be, but I think it's easy to pick out what's a scam, and if it feels like a scam or not right, it's probably not right. And there's so many acting classes out here, there's no reason not to try something that someone has verified as a legitimate acting class. Yeah, if like you're on Yelp looking up acting studios or something and it has like 2 reviews and they're both negative, like I don't know what to tell you, should you risk it? Or a lot of negative reviews, should you risk it? But a lot of the time if you just start talking to people out here, they'll have some recommendations either way.
Right, and everyone has an opinion, you just ask them about it. Yeah, just ask them about it, and they'll tell you how they feel about the class, or what they hear about the class, or about the teacher, or anything like that. So
I think like if any class, I would be like, oh, if you come to my class, we're gonna bring in so and so, and then that's gonna get you an audition. I don't know that I've never experienced anything like that. I've had a great time in acting classes out here. But if someone's guaranteeing you something that sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
That's true. One of those like, in my class, you never know who might walk in. Someone's like...
Yeah, it's like you're just selling.
Yeah.
You're selling me.
Yeah. Okay. I'd probably say, kind of running into the last topic for this week's episode would be, do you guys feel like it is necessary to have acting classes and have acting workshops to make you as a successful actor? Do you think it's a must? Do you feel like you can have a successful career without? Now, obviously, you'll have training and stuff like along the way, but do you feel like you need an acting class to make it as an actor?
I think it depends on your goal. Okay, again, there's no linear way to break into the industry or to have success. You have all different types of people who book things, big projects for different reasons. So you don't have to do anything to potentially be successful. Like there are people I'm sure who have never taken a real acting class who are booking things. So it's different for every person. Should you? I think that you should. And I think a lot of people out there who care about how good you are at what you do, or just kind of getting a feel for the industry, would recommend that you take acting classes regularly. If you're not working, if you're shooting something regularly, like every week, that's different. If you're in between projects, you should be taking classes. But yeah, I mean, of course, you could come out here and get lucky, or just meet someone or know someone, and you could book something, and that would be fine. Is that the standard thing that happens? Definitely not. But I think it's important to take a class, especially if you're just moving out here, because taking a class in LA can teach you a lot about the industry that otherwise you would just learn from trial and error.
Yes.
And it's better for you for being prepared and just being a better actor depending on what you're taking. But technically, is it required or necessary? No. Is it helpful to you? Yes.
Yeah, because when you're on set and the director yell terminology and
you don't know what they're
you
talking
don't know
about.
what they're talking about, even action or cut or take one, take two or whatever, or we're going to start from here, and you're just on set and you're unaware. You booked that job, you did a great audition, but you don't know what's going on set. So you're going to look very green on set. So you need to be in class so you can learn these stuff.
And just so you feel confident in what you're doing. But yeah, so it's not required by any means, but I think the benefits of it certainly outweigh anything else, and I think it's more helpful to you than harmful.
Yes.
And it's not the standard for you to just come out here and get discovered. So does it happen? Sure. Does it happen often? No. So
not in 2018.
So classes are helpful, and also I think Oral touched on this in the beginning, build a little bit of a community of actors, because it does get lonely in LA, especially when you move out here and you don't know how to meet people. And being in a class regularly every week with people, like we became friends from class, and we have a lot of friends from that class, and it's great just to have that network of actors and to you learn different things from different people in your classes. So it's great to have that community.
That's the beauty of LA. Like so many actors and different people are just from so many different places, and we just blend together. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, you don't realize how many people are actually, like, but you don't know, like, how many people are trying to do the exact same thing you're doing until you're in a class. You're like, wow, like, everybody is really, like, trying to make it from all walks of life and all parts of the globe and things like that.
And I think just last little bit, but I think, because LA is full of people who are trying to do a lot of different things, and, you're a freelancer out here basically, and so you're doing a lot of different stuff. Having a class can give you some stability to your schedule as well. Just have something that you're going to go to all the time. When you're kind of freelancing and whatnot. And I would recommend everyone always be in acting classes if you're not currently working, because I think it's so important for you just to be better at what you do and more prepared at what you do.
Yes, if you can afford it.
It is expensive, but
It's a big, like,
there's some
it's a curve.
classes. You have to talk to people and figure it out. It is expensive regardless, but there are classes that aren't really gonna break the bank or anything, and that are worth it. So you don't have to buy like $800 classes or $400 classes. There are classes that you can do for $150, $200 a month, and they're, depending on who you're studying with, it's just as worth it. Yeah. More money doesn't mean a better class, or more opportunities even.
All right, sorry for the cutoff. Rain, you were saying about costs and classes.
Yeah, so you don't have to take the most expensive class. There are cheaper classes out there that are just as beneficial to you, and just because you pay more money doesn't mean it gives you more opportunities or it's a better class. And kind of to backtrack a little bit to talking about people who want to take or hear that they should take these really expensive classes with particular teachers or instructors, and these instructors are saying, or people are saying they have all these connections, it's good to study with them because of their connections. I don't think it really makes a lot of sense to do that, because the connections that they would have would be, maybe agents and managers, but who you really want to get in front of are casting directors, right? And so you could pay a lot of money and invest a lot of time studying with them, and if it's worth it to you, that's great, but you could invest a lot of time and money, studying with them to potentially be connected with these people, or just do a casting director workshop and go directly to the source. So it doesn't, to me, make sense logistically or financially to, do a $700 intensive and then $300 a month classes after that to potentially have access to those connections. You could just take yourself directly to the source by doing a casting director workshop, because either way, you don't know that it's going to open any doors for you.
True.
But one of them's a lot cheaper and a lot faster, so.
That's true. That is smart.
Or you said something off camera that I also wanted to mention to people who don't know. You were talking about auditing in class.
Okay.
Can you break that down for people who don't know about auditing in class, how that works, how you typically go about auditing in class, or?
So some of the big studios, they would give you the option to like audit the master class with the studio head, and that's like the person that runs the studio, whose name is on the studio. And some of them they charge like $25 or whatever to audit the class, and some of them the audit is free. But with the audit, you sit in there and you watch the actors in the master class, and we were talking about the master class, and you just watch them work. Like you just sit there and watch, and at the end of the night, you would introduce yourself to the teacher, and someone place you in the class, and based on your resume or the stuff you have done, they would place you in the beginning or intermediate levels, whatever class based on your resume. And then you still have to work your way up to get to that class, which you just audit.
And be mindful that them placing you based off of your resume is not how long you've been acting or how much training you have, it's the credits that you've booked. So guest stars, co-stars, series regulars, and most of the time you're going to be placed in beginner.
Regardless.
I mean, if you have a long list of credits, you've been on like 3 or 4 shows as guest stars or series regulars, of course that's going to be different. But if you don't have that long list of credits, you're going to be an intro.
And then that class you just audited, it's like a teased, so it's like you're seeing what you can possibly get in years from now, or
after a lot of time and a lot of money. Or after you book something bigger that kind of, changes the tides.
Yeah, because when you book stuff, people start to treat you a little different.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, but like, I guess it's credibility when you have a ton of people acting out here. But that doesn't mean that it's fair, and you shouldn't like judge your acting ability on what class you get put into, because everyone's going to be put into
their criteria is going to be different
intro,
depending on class.
and it doesn't mean anything about you.
Right.
And people who have a lot of credits might not be the best actor.
That's true.
So it really doesn't mean anything. But it's like a tease in the sense that that studio head is not going to be teaching intro level courses. They're only teaching the master class. So you're going to be learning from different instructors who might follow the same method, but is a different person and has their own style as well. So just because you go to the audit with the studio head, you're probably not going to be studying with them for a while. Yeah. It's good to audit just to know if you are interested in the classroom.
Their teaching style and stuff like that.
Yeah, because I audited a class and I was like, the class was good. The actors, they were doing well, but I did not like the guy at all. And I was like, this ain't the type of class for me. I don't like this guy.
That you want to save money into.
Yeah.
It's important. I mean, unless you guys have any closing comments that you want to add, that things you think you might have overlooked, or I know you're always good for a
good ad.
A nightcap to the video.
Just a little 5-minute
a PS,
closer.
a postscript.
So what I would say is, when doing an acting class, make sure you do your research, ask your fellow actors, and make sure you get those recommendations before you spend your money. Do your audits, check out the classes, make sure you like the teachers. Don't just do it for the name to put on your resume, and don't be looking for nothing. All you need to do is look to learn and develop that acting tool. Workshops, make sure you take workshops and with casting directors who can help you and help you develop your audition techniques, because that's the most important part, because if we can't audition, we can't book the work. And just know that auditioning and acting is a bit of almost two different things, right? We could agree on that, right?
Yeah, technique, definitely.
Yeah, the technique is two different things.
Yeah.
So
They go
you know,
hand in hand, but they're different things.
Yes, yes. So, being in acting classes so you can learn some stuff. So when you're on set, you know what's going on and you're aware of things. And the audition classes and the workshops and stuff. So when you go to the audition, you are aware and you know what to do when you're in the room.
Okay.
I think just the most important thing is, when you're looking for a class, it should be look out for number one, like what do you want, what do you like, and what are you trying to improve on versus like the external. Don't focus more internally than externally instead of like this person has a name or they have, these people have taken the class and whatever. It really, it only matters if you like it and if it's helping you. That's the only thing that should matter.
I agree.
Yeah.
So I guess just wrap it up. Once again, my name is Anthony Grant. I'm joined on my right by
Rain Avant.
and again on my right by.
Oral Ellis.
And I want to thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the Round Table. All right, like and subscribe to the video, share with your friends, the whole spiel. All right, take care.
And follow me on Instagram at Oral J Ellis.
Yes, that's right. Rain, do you want to plug your Instagram?
No, I'm good. I don't need to plug.
Okay, she doesn't want to plug.
She's on Instagram at
She doesn't want to plug.
Rain Avant.
She doesn't
We'll
want
put it right here.
She doesn't want your follows.